Hey guys, Hayden here with a quick tutorial on navigating your DAW, which stands for Digital Audio Workstation. A lot of people just refer to this as a DAW. Just FYI, these tutorials are geared towards dancers to help you make your own dance mix or edit. So we won't be covering anything super fancy or technical, mostly just shortening songs, transitioning from one song to the next, and things like that. So let's just get right to it. Today we are talking about Audition, which is a DAW made by Adobe that is available on both Apple and Windows computers. This DAW is catered more to video editors and audio engineers, so it can get a little difficult and complicated to navigate if you're not sure what you're doing. It does come with Adobe's Creative Cloud bundle, which starts around $53 a month. And it comes with a number of other softwares like Premiere Pro, After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator, and more. So it's kind of a good deal if you want a bunch of different tools to work with if you're a creative person. So you can purchase that at adobe.com, and I've put the link in the description for you. So when you open up Audition, you should see this screen, which is our opening screen. And right off the bat, I'm going to select Multitrack View. And to do this, I'm just going to click right up here. There's this little box, Multitrack Editor. And what this is going to do is it's going to make a new little multi-track project. And this is the way that I like to do my dance mixes and edits. So I'm going to name my session here. We'll just name it My Mix. And I'm going to save it to the desktop. That's fine. If I click Browse here, I can choose where to save that. Template. If you have any pre-saved templates, you can choose those. I'm just going to leave it at none. 44/100 Hertz on the sample rate is perfect. 24-bit is fine. Master should be stereo. And then click OK. And so now we have our multi-track session open. So first thing I'm going to do is import a couple songs so you can see how that's done. And also this will help this tutorial make a little more sense visually if I have some songs in here to work with. So to import a song, you can do this in two ways. The first way is to right click, and then I can go to Insert, Files. And if I do that, it'll pull up our Finder window, and then I can just select what song I want to import. This is located in my Downloads folder. You can navigate to wherever yours is. Click Open, and it will import that song onto the track that I right-clicked on. The second way to do this, which is a little easier in my opinion, is just to open your Finder window, navigate to where your songs are. Again, in my case, it's the Downloads folder, and then I can drag and drop right into my mix. I can do the same thing with any sound effects I may have, and just like that, I have all my songs imported into my editor. So I'm just going to show you around Audition really quick, and naturally we're just going to start from the top and work our way down. And as we do that, I'll point out each tool that is helpful to you as a dancer and kind of skip over some of the ones that aren't as useful to you. Up here we have our waveform and multi-track editor. The waveform editor is actually, if I select a clip here and click waveform, it will actually go in and change up this audio file. So I'm not really going to do that. I'm going to leave it on multi-track view here. And you just saw how multi-track works. It creates a session and saves all the files here. So if I save this, it will, save as is with all these different files ready to go. Up here we have some helpful tools. This is our move tool, so this helps us move tracks along. You'll be using these a lot, so if you want to learn the short keys for them, you can. Move tool is V. The razor tool here, this allows you to quickly cut your song. So if I hover over anywhere I want to cut it, it will slice that song. If I want to slice this one down here, I can slice it there. If I want to cut this sound effect in half, I can do that. So the razor tool is really helpful. I'm going to hit Command Z a few times to back up and undo those cuts. Over here I have the slip tool. I don't use this one hardly at all. What it does is if I have a clip here that's shorter and I click this slip tool and drag it, it will restore. It kind of leaves the clip in place but moves the audio. It's kind of confusing, so I don't really use that. And then we have our time selection tool here, which if we wanted to select a section of time to play back or loop, we can do that. So really the main two are the move tool, the razor tool, and then the time selection tool for that. So we have our views here, default, edit audio to video, and radio production. My favorite one to do is simple editing. So I just go here to this double arrow and choose simple editing. That keeps everything simple. Then we have our search bar. If you have questions, you can sometimes find answers by searching, fading or something like that if you're confused on how to do something. Over here, we're going to have our song files. So when we imported those songs, it puts them here as well. So if I want to, pull that in again, I can pull it on another track, and now I have it twice. We have our effects rack. This is for adding effects to different tracks. And we have our properties window, which just shows us a little more information. And then here we have our tracks. On each track, we can adjust the volume of the entire track. So anything that's on this track will be louder or quieter. If I adjust that there, this will pan it from the left ear to the right ear. If you're wearing headphones, it kind of, you won't really ever use this hardly, but it's there. You can mute this track and everything else will play. I can solo this track and this is the only track that will play. This is for recording, so you probably won't use these at all. These tabs up here will actually change what you can do to your track. This one changes the input output. You shouldn't have to worry too much about that. The effects, you can add effects like echoes and distortion or things if you want to do that. This is our sends, which we won't use, and our EQ, which we won't use that either too much. So then we have our metronome. We don't have to worry about these. This toggle global clip stretching is really handy if you want to speed up or slow up a song really quickly. We cover that in another video. Snapping is really handy to have on. This will just snap to the beginning or end. See, the ends of the clips will snap together. We have a similar tool in Dance Cuts, our editor. You can toggle playback auto scroll, which just keeps this in the window. So if I move my cursor over here and I have this toggled on and hit play with my space bar, you can see that it kind of jumped over. Up here we have our zoom tools as well. These are really handy if I can zoom out and see my whole mix if I stretch this out, or I can just move this and it'll kind of show. It's kind of a unique way of doing this. This is the only editor I've seen that has this kind of neat zoom tool, so you can kind of see your whole mix, or you can zoom in on a different part. And then you also have the same thing over here if we want to make these, if you want to make these tracks taller or shorter, I can do that here as well. And then if I go to my audio clip and go to the beginning of the clip, I will have this little neat tool here. I can increase the volume. If I click on this there's mini bars here, I can increase the volume of each individual clip as needed to make it louder or softer. And then down here I have my transport. This is probably the only DAW I've seen where the transport bar, which is your play, stop, move forward in the mix, fast forward, rewind, is at the bottom. So kind of cool. You won't be using record much. Looping is kind of helpful if you want to loop a section. And then here's another quick tool to zoom in or out of your mix if you don't want to use the fancy tool up top. And these are some other tools. So this is zooms to your selection. If you have a selection, it'll zoom into whatever you have selected with our selection tool. So I can zoom into that, just like that. Okay, so let's zoom back out. Whoops, this one here. Click that a few times. Actually, I'm just going to do this because it's a little faster. And then over here on the right, we do have our master meter, which shows us the overall volume of our mix. So if I hit play here, you'll see that bouncing up and down. So you can see you really want your mix to be hovering around that 3 decibels, -3 decibel point. And that's pretty much it. So just to recap, the most useful tools you'll probably use for mixing and editing dance music are the cursor tools, which are up here, the files and effects rack, the clip stretching button here to make your song faster or slower, the snapping tool, you've got your volume tool here. Oh, and another thing that I forgot to mention is this fade clip here. This is actually a really neat tool. If I click here in this corner, I can actually add a fade to my clip or audio file or what have you. So if I want something to fade out quickly or in a long time, I can just drag that and add that fade. We have a similar tool in our Dance Cuts editor as well. And of course, have your snap on, your transfer for playback, and of course, your navigation tools down here and your zoom tools. So that's pretty much the gist of Audition and how to navigate it. Hopefully this video was helpful. If so, please give the video a like and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions about making mixes or edits for your dance, you can contact me directly or head over to dancecuts.com/contact. And just for those curious, here is Dance Cuts, our music editor made for dancers. It has the critical tools that we discussed needing earlier, but they're hopefully much easier to access and use and learn, as Dance Cuts was created for dancers. It is free, so be sure to check that out. You can do that by heading over to dancecuts.com and navigating to the downloads page. We also have loads of tutorials to help you quickly learn Dance Cuts, with more tutorials being made regularly. So be on the lookout for those, and we will see you in the next one.